From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
That's it, Taylor. 500 help. Taylor Heating and Plumbing, of course. They are operating 24 hours a day. Taylor is open and serving their clients. They do it all. If you got furnace problems right now in the next couple of days, we're back in that cold spell here in Rochester, New York. You want to make sure your furnace and your water heater are operating at, that they're all good. And you call Taylor Heating and Plumbing, Taylor 500 help. They will set you up. They do air conditioning, heating, plumbing, home energy. And at Taylor, they provide comprehensive maintenance plans. They've been doing this a very long time. So hook up with Taylor. Have them tell you about Bradford white water heaters, because there's nothing like a cold shower in the morning. I don't want to take one. I want my shower hot. Taylor 500 help. Precision Lawn and Garden. You know where they're at? They're in Webster, 195 North Avenue. Been providing Rochester surrounding areas professional sales, service, and parts since about 1969. And if you need a big old snowblower, and we're in the thick of it right now, go see Kimberly and Justin. Get a big, a small, or on sale model of the snowblowers. Precision Lawn and Garden carries the complete list of Snowway. They do the plows, the snow removal, the whole thing, the equipment, the accessories. So check them out. Precision Lawn and Garden, 195 North Avenue in Webster. And of course, if you don't have a snow service, a driveway service, and you need your driveway done, you call Express Sealers. Brian at Express Sealers, 645-2010. He won't let you down. He'll show up. Whether you need a business snow removal or if it's residential, you need to call Brian with all the expertise. He shows up. He gets it done. 645-2010. He gets it done on the east side, of course. So if you're out in Williamson, Ontario, Farmington, that area over there, make sure that you call Brian, Express Sealers. He will make it happen for you. And please support our advertisers, because they support us here at Kimberly's Revolution and the We the People Podcast Network.
Live from snowy Irondequoit, New York. It's 23 degrees. Tom's out of town, but she's always here for you.
I'm here.
It's Kimberly Ray.
I am here. Hey, what is going on? It is Kimberly's Revolution. I am fresh off a trip to Kansas City to see my Chiefs. Oh my goodness, what a game it was. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But yeah, it is Kimberly's Revolution. Of course, the We the People Podcast Network.com. We have a website. We're like official now. We do it all. We have t-shirts. And since just Tom is not here today, it is just John H., who I've known for many, many years. He's owned several gyms. He's the most in shape guy I know. And I was like, how do you want me to introduce you? You've been around for so long. And he says, jack of all trades, master of none. I'm like,
right.
That suits you. But you're also the partner in 5-Step Fitness, which is in Penfield. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Parrington.
Oh, I'm sorry. Parrington.
The official location, Parrington Square Mall.
Yeah. And I mean, how many gyms have you owned or managed? I mean, can you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 or 6.
5 or 6. And where did we meet? Midtown Athletic was that Midtown that you were running?
Was it Downtown Fitness Club?
Yeah, it was Downtown Fitness Club.
Yeah, I sent you a message via Facebook, or was it MySpace back then? I can't remember. It's been that long. And I said, I want to do this celebrity boot camp. And you said, I'm in.
Yeah.
And we went about the town.
It was 2008. It was before I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yes.
Because the day I found out I had breast cancer, I had worked out with you that morning after the show.
I did not know this.
If you remember that. Yeah.
I didn't realize that happened.
And I came back like 2 days later and I'm like, guess what I have? I have breast cancer.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
And you're like, well, we need to keep up the fitness. It is imperative for you to keep healthy.
Right.
And you did. I mean, you were really the guy that got me back into fitness and got me healthy again.
Oh, shucks. Shucks.
And you've trained me off and on for years.
Yeah.
And you
more
look
off lately.
You look amazing.
But I'm John H. I got to live up to a standard, right?
And see, I love John H. because you and I, while we can be antagonistic and controversial,
to say the least, yes,
I love you.
Yeah.
Anyone who says,
and I love you.
Anyone who says, "Oh, John H. irritates me," I'm like, okay, yeah, you and I are not going to get along.
Just for the record, are there a lot of people that say that to you? I mean,
no, but I see you on social media.
I've met people that said, you know, I heard you were a big asshole. And I go, you don't even know me.
Right, exactly. Can't believe everything you hear.
I'm like,
I think
who's out there saying this?
I know,
stuff
but
about
anybody who says that, I'm like, okay, I know you're not my kind of people then. If
Amen.
anyone who says John H. irritates them or if Kimberly irritates them,
you have always had my back.
They're not
you had my back.
I've always had your back.
Yep.
Even when we disagree.
Right, exactly.
And we do disagree.
We disagree on a lot of things.
From time to time.
You had my back with Terry Clifford. We won't get into that.
No.
Are you banned from talking about her?
No, she's the sweetest lady.
She is.
Listen, I've always said, and I'll mention
I got my list of 3 people that got really pissed off at me when I started doing that celebrity boot camp.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like, you remember Peloton, which is tanking, by the way. Their stock is like, they're stopping production. I was right all along. I love things that come around full circle, and I was right. So I was saying overpriced, don't buy it. Anyway, it's sort of like that Peloton commercial that came under fire because, I mean, you want to get your wife a Peloton.
Right, the girls on the treadmill. Yeah.
That's kind of a double-edged sword. But I got 3 people that really got pissed off at me when I called up and I said, I'm doing the celebrity weight loss boot camp thing. And they're like, are you saying I need this? And Terry was one of them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. We had that conversation, but she is Terry is one of the nicest ladies in radio. And I've always said that she's just too nice for radio. Yeah. But she has managed to always take the high road on everything. And she's a good lady. She had reached out to me to let me know that, and this was last week, that Tom George, the longtime
I saw that
traffic guy. And of course he was a DJ back in the day before he started doing traffic. And he passed away last week.
Yeah. The iconic voice of Tom George.
Absolutely.
I used to listen to the traffic every morning on
and
the radio.
And Tom and I, we had our differences, 2 very strong personalities. He would get angry at me, I would get angry at him, but I was saddened to hear that Tom George had passed away. And I know his services were today at 9:30, and I couldn't get out there because I had a meeting I had to go to this morning, and I just I feel bad about that, but sure. I'll always remember the good times.
How old was that guy?
Of Tom George. I think he was 76 years old.
I think I read. Yeah.
And he had started having problems with his eyesight, and then I think they found a tumor, and it was too late to do anything about it. Yeah. But I'll always remember he was taking the paper before we could ever get it when I was doing mornings over at Intercom, which is down in High Falls.
Right.
And I went back one morning and I said, Tom, you took the paper again. I need the newspaper. I need to see this article. And he turns around and he heaves it at me.
Uh-oh.
He throws it at me.
Uh-oh.
He throws the newspaper at me.
No good things come from throwing things at people.
And so we made a bit out of it. And we had people come down, throw the newspaper like Tom George, and we had people participate in it.
Really?
And because he had good humor and he understood, the whole thing, he came out and participated as well, which is one of my funny Tom George stories. But, you have strong personalities like that. You're either going to come together as a unit or you're going to duke it out sometimes. And Tom and I were that kind of people, but I was saddened to hear that he had passed away. But the thing of it is, none of us are getting out of here alive, John H.
We are all going out the same way.
None of us are getting out alive.
I went on Netflix last week to watch Ozark because everyone's telling me about Ozark.
Oh, right? Isn't it so good?
It is now that I've started to watch it.
So good.
So I'm in season 1. I gotta binge watch so I can get up to the new season.
Yeah, you do. Anyway, I'm like on episode 5 of the new season.
Okay, well, I fell asleep the first time. The second time though, Braveheart was in the queue. I said I got to watch Braveheart. But you make me think of Braveheart when you say we're not getting out of here alive, because
we're not.
The famous line from William Wallace is, "Everybody dies, but not everybody lives." Right? When he's rallying up the men.
I like that. Yeah.
Because they're like, when they first line up, they're like, "Screw this, we're going home. We're going to get our asses kicked." He's like, "Hey, everybody dies, not everybody lives." And it worked. I mean, it was 1280 AD, so you weren't going home to watch TV. You might as well go out and sling a few swords.
That is an epic phrase. I love that.
Yeah.
But someone's saying, hey, how about Tom George and his little dog? His little dog was was bitey. And so I think he bit
Nippy,
a couple.
I think
he would bring the dog in, and I didn't mind it because I love animals. But he would bring the dog in, but the dog was like him. and the dog would kind of snap at you every now and then.
Sure.
It bit me. I didn't care about it. I wasn't the one that complained about the dog biting. But our girl who put together all of our commercials, he bit her, and she did complain about
was that Laurel?
it. Yes, it was Laurel.
Laurel,
God love Laurel.
I used to do my own reads for my commercials for the gym.
Yeah.
And poor Laurel, she knew when I came in there, I would have nothing prepared, zero prepared.
Why would you? You're John H.
I go, give me an envelope. Let me write this down. And then I'd read it and she'd go, that sounds pretty good. I go, no, I don't really like it.
Yeah.
She wanted it one and done in the can.
Yeah.
And I was like, 40 takes later, I go, I think that's good. Let's go with the first one.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, but anyway, I was thinking that I wanted to make a mention of Tom George this morning, because I think that
Tip of the
he's
cap
just,
to
he's
Tom
one of
George.
those personalities and one of those voices.
Well, you can hear that voice in your head.
You can
hear that voice in your head. I always say in the fitness world, I want you, when you think about fitness, my voice is the voice you hear.
Your voice is in my head always,
Right.
as in quit being a fat ass and get and work out.
Exactly.
That's what, and I told you I bought that damn mirror.
Yeah.
And I've had
Creepy.
so much trouble
I can't
with
believe
it.
you didn't consult with me about that. It's like having a spirit in your room.
No, I like being able to see the people and they can see me working out. I don't mind that at all. I mean,
it's interactive. People can really see you working out.
You can turn off their ability to see, but I just keep it on.
Do you think the Russians are not hacking that right now?
Or
the Chinese? Somebody's hacking it.
They're going to see me fall over trying to do my 18th squat. What do I don't care about that.
I don't know. Big Brother's watching.
I wouldn't trust that. They're seeing my big old underarm sweat pits. I don't care about that. What do I care? But anyway, I'm so glad that you could join today. Did you know our website is up and running?
No, I did not.
It absolutely is. The We the People Podcast Network.com.
Okay.
Finally paid someone. They did the website. We've got t-shirts on it that you can buy. And she should get one. So
I'm gonna go and buy my merchandise right away.
I just got back from Kansas City.
Yeah.
I flew back yesterday.
Red eye.
I flew in Sunday. I flew back yesterday. I went with my niece to see that great playoff game in Kansas City.
You were there.
With more Bills fans at this away game than I have ever seen.
Right. Nobody travels like Bills Mafia.
I'm telling you, we tailgated with some Bills Mafia on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. We had a great time. You slept through the game.
I fell asleep and I woke up and it was over. So I haven't even seen it, but I'm going to watch it.
I didn't get out of that.
Don't spoil it for me. How does it? Don't tell me how.
How's it end?
Yeah. Don't tell me. I want to watch it.
Well, let's just say, where's that little Patrick Mahomes? There we go. If what does it say there? I didn't
never let your girl tell you 13 seconds isn't long enough ever again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good meme.
All you need is 13 seconds. That is all you need.
It's all
for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Who is quite, but you know what? I think it was a great game with both teams.
Somebody had to lose.
I think Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. That was a fantastic performance.
Yeah.
And I always say I've lived here for 21 years, but I am a Kansas City girl at heart.
Yeah.
I love the Buffalo Bills and the Mafia as long as they're not playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs. I'm a Kansas City girl.
I'll tell you, I grew up a Miami Dolphins fan.
So is my husband.
Because, 1972, when they went undefeated, I was like 4 years old. So you look at the Sears catalog and you're like, okay, I'm going to pick out my team.
Right.
You pick out the team that won, like every kid does. They all root for the winners.
Right, exactly.
But when, my daughters are big time Bills Mafia, because my daughter, Michaela, lived in Buffalo for a couple of years. So she got hooked. Now my daughter, Grace, who just graduated from nursing school, she's going to be a nurse. They are like hardcore.
Yeah.
And a family text group, it just blows up all day. It's like it's profane, so I can't say it.
Sure.
Well, I can say some swear words, but not the hardcore ones.
You can say all the swear words you want. Man. You can say any swear word you want.
All day long.
It doesn't matter.
Like,
push your little button right there. Push your little button.
I'm getting unfocused. How's
there you
that?
are.
Did I refocus?
Oh, there you go.
Hey-o.
Yes. There you go. Yes.
Yeah. So I've been kind of won over by the Bills Mafia. I want the Bills to win.
Of course. But I was glad to see that they did not win on Sunday. I got back to the hotel room at like 11:30 Sunday night. I had to be up and downstairs at the hotel by 4:30 for the shuttle over to the airport because my flight was out at 6:15 and I had no voice. I mean, today I'm much better, but yesterday, I had no voice and I was exhausted. We just stood the whole game and we partied and it was a great time.
I saw your Facebook post where you announced, you go, hey, you only live once. You took Mel Gibson's advice.
You got to go to these
everybody
things.
dies, but not everybody lives. And you go, screw it, I'm going.
I got to be honest, because my husband found out that he wasn't going to be able to go. And so we put the tickets back up on Ticketmaster and I tried to sell them.
Okay.
But by Thursday, I had panicked. I'm going, okay, we're just going to lose $700.
Right.
They were $300 a piece. And then with the taxes and everything they tack on, I thought, oh my God, they're not going to sell. They're not going to sell.
That's still pretty reasonable tickets.
So
for the magnitude of the game.
We were in the end zone, row 5. So 5 rows up.
Mm-hmm.
We had great tickets.
For
we had
$300. I mean, that's a win right there.
And then it cost me $390 to fly in. And then my niece, had picked me up and we went to brunch. We did all those things, but I just decided at the last minute, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. And we had a great time. It was a great time. Today's show is called The New York State Judge Trumps the Gov. Judge Trumps Gov.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where you went to school, but if you don't know that,
right,
you might want to sue the school district for your lack of education. And
it's called the division of powers.
It is
the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch.
So the New York Supreme Court judge, his name is Judge Thomas Rademacher. He's in Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
He said that Hochul's mask mandate is illegal,
unconstitutional,
cannot do it.
Yeah.
He said the governor overstepped her authority by imposing a rule that needed to have been passed
by the
state
branch.
legislature.
Yeah.
And that Governor Kathy Hochul knew that when she actually made that mask mandate.
Right.
So I guess a lot of kids going back to school today, depending on their parent stance, went back without a mask. What's your take on the mask? Are you anti-mask? Are you mask? I know, right?
Yeah.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
Well,
after 2 years, aren't we exhausted?
It depends on who I'm talking to, is my stance on the mask. If someone wants the mask and they go, wow, it's really dangerous, like I'm standing at the cash register at BJ's over in Greece, and I go, hey, I guess the mask is going to go away. Coronavirus is over. And the woman goes, oh, no, it's very dangerous. You can get really sick.
Yeah.
I go, oh, yeah, that's why I'm wearing my mask. I said, I'm afraid.
I don't mind going toe to toe with any of those people that think it's very dangerous because it's.
I had an interesting experience because amongst a lot of the things that I do, I'm in city schools like almost every day because I service healthy vending machines in 10 city schools. So I was in one of the schools and the head custodian says to me, just out of the blue, because when I walk into his office, he's always watching Fox News. So I know where he lines up.
Okay, right.
He says, hey, are you vaccinated? I go, yeah, I'm vaccinated. He goes, I'm sorry. I said, it's okay. I said, I did my research. I'm sure you did yours and you decided not to do it. And I said, I'm part of the Pfizer study. I'm in a phase 1 Pfizer study. I get paid to get shots.
What is wrong with you? What are you, a guinea pig?
My gym was locked down. I was sitting around all day and I saw it on Facebook and I said, I'm going to do it. So I went up there and.
I mean, they hit you really right in the pocket.
Yeah. They
hit you in the wallet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Financially, I was wrecked.
Yeah.
I was wrecked. So anyway, he says, I'm sorry. I said, that's all right. And so I explained, like I said, you did your research. I did my research. I said, frankly, I've been exposed to DDT and PCBs. And I said, I'm in the fitness business. People put supplements in their mouth. They don't even know what's on the label.
Right.
I took fat burners for a bodybuilding show and I went back to buy them the next time and they were gone because the FDA banned them for some substance that was in there. I said, that's probably why I was feeling dizzy all the time.
Right.
So we put all this stuff.
Put stuff in our body.
I said, you know what, I want to be part of this historic, the RNA, the synthetic replication of the DNA. So I went up, I talked to the doctor. They they took first of all, I wanted an antibodies test to settle a family argument because everyone thinks they had coronavirus, right? And I was
my husband had it. I tested negative.
Right. So
even though
they gave you an antibodies test, I was negative. So I said, see, we didn't have the coronavirus. I say to my daughter and rest of the family members, they go, well, that doesn't prove anything. Maybe they wore off. So, I mean, you're not going to convince anybody of their opinion.
Right.
Anyway, so I explained this to the guy and he says, again, he goes, I'm sorry. I said, okay. Listen, if you say you're sorry a third time, we're going to have a problem. Because you're implying that I'm a sheep and I just follow instructions blindly and I'm an idiot and I can't make my own decisions. I said, what happened to the America where we could just take in the information, hopefully, unadulterated, and make a decision?
Because the majority of the people don't see things like that. The majority of the people, John H., are not like you.
They're siloed in their
they say
ideological.
They want to get vaxxed and they want everyone else to get vaxxed too.
Right.
I mean, people aren't like you. If you want to get Austin, our producer, where is Austin? You only see him when he comes up on the screen every now and then.
Where is he?
Austin is. Where are you, Austin? We know he's here.
Hello.
There he is. There he is. He's giving the big thumbs
up.
Austin is vaccinated. We didn't give him a hard time. We kind of made fun of him and laughed and said, but then he got COVID.
Right.
Vaccine guy. But the majority of individuals, who think like you do about the vaccination or the mask or whatever, they're not open to that discussion of personal choice. They want to make that personal choice for you. Yeah. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
That's what
it doesn't matter which way you land on it. Back to your question about the mask. I mean, if you're on that side, you're on that side, you're on that side, you're on that side. What complicates it is when you work for a company that makes it policy and then you're forced to comply.
Right. Or you lose your job.
Right. Or,
your ability to make money for your family.
The vaccination, that's when it kind of crosses the line and it becomes an ideological battle, which most people don't understand why they are a Democrat or a Republican. You and I have had this talk. We deeply know why we are.
Absolutely. We do.
We're educated people. We have discernment. We take in the information. We go, okay, we'll make a decision.
Right.
I've since unaffiliated from both parties.
Have I.
So I'm an unaffiliated voter.
I'm an independent.
Right.
I was a Democrat for years. I switched over to Republican.
Right.
And 2 years ago, I made the choice to
unaffiliate.
Unaffiliate. Yes.
Yeah, because the Independence Party is not an independent voter. So make sure you didn't. That my daughter Grace did that. She came home. She says, "I'm an independent voter." I looked at her thing and I said, "No, you're a member of the Independence Party."
I know what I'm.
Yeah. So unaffiliated is the way to go.
I know what I.
I know you do. That's for the listeners out there.
Of course.
Most people who are unaffiliated are also apathetic about it, though. They just don't want to get involved. Where I think an unaffiliated position should be.
Well, that's just laziness. We should call those people lazy.
Well, they can't be bothered with that.
Yeah.
But so many things, especially with this, you sent me a link today that the police were called to Webster Thomas High School.
Let's play that. Let's play that right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
If a customer trouble over Webster Thomas High School, the caller is there to pick up his daughter for being sent home for not wearing a mask.
Can we play that again?
Roger.
The guy goes, Roger.
It's probably the Webster Special Police.
If a customer trouble over Webster Thomas High School, the caller is there to pick up his daughter for being sent home for not wearing a mask.
Roger. Okay, so here's the thing. Judge trumps gov.
Right.
And the judge also trumps the New York State Education Department. Just so you know.
But the gov,
just so you know,
the gov through the education department sent emails to all the schools that said mask mandate must remain in place. So now they're in a position where,
but the judge trumps both the governor and the state education.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone wanted to argue with me on that on Twitter. I reached out to our own very local inside the building attorney. Mr. Chad Hummel.
I heard him having a conversation to that end as I walked in the building today.
Very loud.
Yeah, he's animated.
I love him like I love you. He's a
lovable guy.
He is a very lovable. I know you guys have kind of gone head to head from time to time.
We fight on Facebook once in a while.
So yeah, well, I think what people don't understand is if a judge says the mandate is illegal, then you cannot enforce said mandate. So
supposedly,
was the guy justified for calling the Webster cops because his daughter got sent home from school? I mean, I don't know. But first off, the school can't send that daughter home. But your thought was, before I interrupted you to play this, go ahead.
I don't know what it was now.
See, that's what I do. Yeah, that's how I do things.
You wound me around. But yeah, I mean, I was in city schools this morning, and they're enforcing the mask mandate.
You can't. It's illegal.
But I mean, you
see how that works? No, you can't.
But here's the thing. Most people that I've run into in city schools want to wear a mask. They want to wear a mask. I don't.
Because they're wanted by the law?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm asking the question. No. I don't know.
Well, I pulled up. There was a bus drop off at one of the schools I went to. And one of the faculty was out kind of guiding everybody. And so I started up the conversation because I was listening to a radio show that, is locally played here. And there were reports of Brockport.
There's a local radio show in Rochester?
Yeah, I know. There's still one.
Austin, did you know that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't think there are any local radio shows worth listening to, but nonetheless, go on.
I might agree with you. But I was listening to it nonetheless. And they were talking about, there was a caller from the Brockport school system who sent their kids to school, said, don't wear the mask. The bus driver said, put the mask on or you can't get on the bus.
Bullshit.
So they masked up, rode the bus. He said, go ahead and take them off at school. So they take them off and they go, you put those masks on or you're going to spend the day in school suspension. And the speculation was,
let me just say
they didn't
right
want to send them home so they could collect state aid for the attendance for these kids.
Of course, it's illegal. That's illegal. And if parents don't stand up, I mean, I think the guy calling, 911 because of that was ridiculous. But we're already living the ridiculous, John H.
Yeah,
we're living the ridiculous.
Everything's ridiculous.
So is it ridiculous for the guy to call 911 because his daughter was sick? Yes, because that's where we are.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand that a New York State Supreme Court judge outweighs any decision by the governor or the New York State Education Department. Please figure it out and learn the basics of how our legislative system is run.
I was trying to remember what Biden passed early in his presidency that he knew it was going to be struck down by the court, but he was going to do it anyway.
I think that's called the son of a bitch rule. We'll get to that later. But I think that he must have passed the son of a bitch rule.
He must have.
He likes to say it a lot.
I do. I like that he likes to say that. Makes the rest of us sound kind of normal when we swear.
I'll take a mean tweet anytime.
But yeah, I think there's this, the judge says something, but how do you implement it? I mean, how do you enforce it? If people aren't going to do it, they aren't going to do it, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think, because we've warned, this has been going on for 2 years, and now all of a sudden,
right,
the CDC or whomever says it, now the regular masks that we've all been wearing are not good enough. So now we're going to move the line again.
Right.
We're going to move the line.
And somebody's making 400 million N95 masks. So somebody's getting paid.
So shouldn't we have been wearing those to begin with?
Well, the science has changed, I guess.
No.
Omicron is different. Omicron's different.
And now there are subvariants of Omicron.
A very stealth Omicron.
So we at some point, and this has been bantered about the last couple of days, we have to figure out a way to live with the virus.
Tear the Band-Aid off.
Without masking.
Let's go back.
Without masking our children.
Right.
Without masking 5-year-olds.
Immunizing our children.
Without taking them and getting a shot that doesn't work.
Right.
Because they're not the ones that are sadly the most affected.
Right.
By the virus.
Well,
I mean,
older people. It's a flu shot at this point.
Yeah. People
it's
with
the same thing.
4 comorbidities, one being obesity.
Right.
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 And
the The not local radio show I was listening to was talking about that. Clay and Buck, the guys that took Rush Limbaugh's spot.
Right.
The Clay Travis, who is a sports guy who comes by it, via setting up a podcast in his basement and hits it big, right? Outkick the coverage, and now he's Rush Limbaugh's replacement. But he's like, where was the CDC recommending healthy diet and exercise? No, they were shutting down gyms and telling people they couldn't go to the park without a mask on. Nobody's going to work out with a mask on. The gym business was decimated because we lost 2/3 of our members.
The
third that
you're never going to get back.
You won't get the third.
You won't get them back.
You won't get a lot of them back. You will get the ones who will. We lost the top third, I call it, of people who wanted to work out but would not do it with a mask on. So they wouldn't come to the gym because we were forced.
Because you feel like you're going to pass out. I mean, working out is hard for me anyway, but wearing a mask.
I'm going to write a book about this. Do you just want
me to fall
Kimberly.
over? I'm just going to fall over.
Well, I lived.
You saw me work out.
I bought a gym during the pandemic. I bought a gym and I closed it in 4 months. So I lived all this,
right?
Yeah. No. 5-step I still have.
You bought another one?
Yeah, I actually bought a gym in October of 2020 and closed it about a year ago, the last day of January 2021. And here's how the government imposes its rule on you. I was required to get an inspection by the Department of Health.
Okay.
But when you contact the Department of Health, they didn't have any inspectors to come do it. So the town code enforcement of the town I was in came by and said, I'm shutting you down. You don't have this inspection.
Even though there weren't inspectors to come do the job.
Yep. Shut my gym. It was closed for a week. This was when, remember, we had the orange zone in November, right around. My gym was 100 yards inside the orange zone. It got shut down. So it got shut down for that.
The most unfair thing.
Yeah, because across the street, you could go to a restaurant. Yeah. And I will tell you this, I was already on the radar of the town. The hair salon, the massage place, the dance studio, all these businesses that were supposed to shut down in the same plaza, they remained open and they weren't called on it. But I did not kiss the pinky ring of the town code enforcement.
Well, that's shocking.
I know it. I could tell my response was bad that day. But anyway, she finally condemned my business. She came and put that red thing on it.
Isn't it unfair how people can be the death of your ability to make a living?
Yeah.
Who would ever think that in America that could be a thing? They basically put you out of business.
I used to go, people.
And that had to make you mad. You seem not very mad about it. Are you over it at this point?
Yeah, I'm over it. You got two choices, right? I mean, when faced with these things that are outside your control, I mean, you could push back against it, but I mean, at some point you just got to accept it. And that's what the government
that's what they want you to do.
On.
Yes.
So, and what I was going to say, I thought these people were radicals when they're like, this is Nazi Germany and I'm going to,
It is.
And
it is.
They might have a point. I'm not there yet, but the government does have. I mean, that's why the whole thing. They got Trump. They had to get Trump because Trump broke the system.
All the rules.
He broke
all the rules and the way that everything.
The people in power did not like that. The people that were appointed and held these positions.
Well, yeah,
and they were just not respected properly. They push back and they're still pushing back
without a doubt. So this judge says he cancels New York State's unconstitutional indoor mask mandate.
Good for him.
Which carried a fine of up to $1,000 for businesses who did not comply.
Right.
And so he said, you know what, do I think that you should wear a mask? Because he says it's not about that. It's about the fact that overall this is illegal.
Right.
His personal opinion, he says, doesn't matter whether or not you should, wear a mask or not. You can do it to make you. But here's what I don't like. And, little kids, you see flying back in the airports, you see little kids with these masks and you look at them and they'll be looking at you and they can't tell you're smiling. It's a way for people to, and it basically goes back to caveman days. How did you know if someone, it's evolutionary, the smile, the facial expressions, that's how people can tell you're not an enemy if you're smiling. And they're not learning to communicate with these little kids with the masks on, right? I mean, they can tell if mommy and daddy are mad because of the look on their face. They can tell if they're, happy. They can tell if they're sad. And 2 years out of a 3-year-old or 4-year-old's life is an eternity.
I mean, some of these kids have, gained the age of awareness, right? I mean, when you're an infant, a toddler, do you remember those? I don't.
I remember a lot.
I remember being 3-ish, 4.
I remember standing up in a crib.
That. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I remember stealing my brother's bottle all the time because he's 13 months younger than me. But I don't really, but what I guess I'm getting at, my grandson is almost 3. He won't remember. He doesn't have to wear a mask because he's 3.
He's 3, but he sees other people wearing a mask.
Right. So he won't remember a time where people didn't wear masks.
Right. And you can't tell me these kids aren't going to be affected by that. But apparently Governor Hochul, she's got it all right. It's like kids wearing tennis shoes. Can we play her ridiculous analogy to this? I mean, I
haven't heard this. I can't wait.
I want to know if the state has a particular number, whether that be like a test positivity rate or a hospitalization rate, that when we go under that, the mask mandates will be lifted, or is the state playing that by ear?
We're not playing it by ear. We're going to be driven by data and look at what our situation was prior to the mandates and assess, was that the right number to go back to? I can't say with certainty, but that is a starting point to look at the number before we instituted these. We instituted these because we saw the storm coming our way. We watched the global trends. We saw how quickly this escalated upward in other countries like England and South Africa, and we knew that could hit us. That's why we took steps literally the day the first case arrived in New York State, which was December 2nd, and announced the first series of restrictions on going up for the next couple of weeks. So
I don't think that's where she's talking about the tennis shoes. She basically says
it's coming up.
Oh, it is? Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
I think about this a lot. I'm not going to operate in a vacuum. We're going to have data and experts and people who know a lot about what the next trends are. But I am really looking forward to lifting them. I truly am. I know people are tired, but I'll say one thing about the kids. My daughter had a meltdown over having to put sneakers on to go to kindergarten. She got used to wearing sneakers in school. They adapt better than adults do. And I'm really proud of the parents who made sure that their kids.
No, okay. Can we stop right there? It's not like wearing tennis shoes.
Right.
It's your feet versus your face.
Right.
Which kids learn how to communicate. And that they learn how to respond and react and to know what's going on around them. I mean, that's how, that's how little ones learn, is by watching facial expressions. One of the first thing you do, is this person happy or sad? Is this person angry? I mean, you have to learn, facial expressions. She's ridiculous.
I love your listeners. Botox is bad for her face. She looks like the Joker.
That's Patty. That is Patty. But yeah, so
that's good stuff.
He ruled that Kathy Hochul's effort to reinstate the mask mandate is unlawful. So therefore, your children, when they get on the bus, should not have to wear a mask. And your children, when they go to school, should not have to wear a mask, because it is indeed unconstitutional. Unconstitutional.
You're preaching to the choir over here.
Right?
I mean, first of all, why do they use the data and the science only when it supports their point?
Right.
Because there's data and science that exist that run counter to their points, but they don't use that.
Right.
Second of all, if you turn in a book report in as early as middle school, high school at least, you have to give citations from the references that you use.
Right.
These guys that use Cuomo was the same way. The experts were going to consult. Who are these experts and where are they? Where's the citation?
They don't have to cite them.
Hey, so and so. Well, I remember one time Cuomo was asked that by a reporter, And he said, well, we got to protect them because they would be subject to doxing or whatever.
Well, that's bullshit.
I know, but they can an excuse for every, I mean.
Yeah, I know, right?
Science is imperfect. It's an evolving and ever-changing pursuit, right, of knowledge. Their answers are too perfect. That's why, like, if you believe Jesus and God made the earth in 7 days and man was created from the dust, you debunk evolution
of course
as a too perfect of a theory because there's no, I mean, they just keep weaving it, and this is the same
concept.
Yeah, same rules concept. Apply. It's all politically motivated. Democrats are famous for just using these rules that nobody knows about to kind of keep twisting, because if the judge says this is illegal, the right move is to say, you know what? The intention was there to protect the people. We understand that people have rights, so we're going to stand down.
Right.
And plus, the science has changed.
But
Omicron
they're not going
is not
to
a dangerous virus.
It is not. But the thing of it is, it's evil. These people are dangerous and
they're
evil.
driven by power. So
they are
ultimately, it does become evil. Yes.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at this one statistic, and this is from the Journal of American Medical Association.
Do you know I was published in the Journal of New England Medicine?
Were you?
Yeah.
110,000. That's how many deaths could be prevented each year of adults over 40 if they at least exercise 30 minutes a day.
People don't care about exercise
110,000
right
people could be alive today if they had exercised 30. So why don't they mandate exercise? Can you imagine?
Bill Gates won't let him. He wants to depopulate the world. He wants them to die.
So 30 minutes of exercise a day.
Yep.
Do I want to exercise 30 minutes a day? I don't, but I know I have to.
Right.
I don't, but so, I'm one of these girls. I'm on exercise. I'm off. I'm on. I'm off.
You buy a mirror.
I buy a mirror. I'm pissed because it's buffering. It won't
get dressed
quit
up
buffering.
to work out in front of your mirror?
No.
So you're just looking like hell.
Oh, I look like hell, just like I always did when I came to work out with you. I look like hell.
Oh, you look good. You put yourself together.
I am not one of these girls that goes to the gym to look good. I go in, I get it done, and I go out.
Right.
That's what I do.
You showered at least.
Yeah.
I didn't notice any foul odors coming from
I always came after work when I worked out with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did, a morning show, and then the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and by the way, you're listening to Kimberly's Revolution. This is the We the People podcast network.com. And if you're wondering where Just Tom is, he's still on a cruise.
Is he on that cruise that got sued for not paying their fuel bill and they had to turn around and go back to
they're just floating out to sea somewhere. I don't know. I don't know where he is. But
can you imagine that this huge cruise ship is on the Lamb. Trump must own it. They don't want to pay their bill, so they're just going to go to a different port.
So they're just floating. John H is here with me, and of course, he is the owner of the partner 5 Step Fitness.
Yeah,
and you've owned and operated, fitness
countless
facilities,
gyms,
countless,
gyms,
right?
Yeah.
And I think you can say, and we understand that if you're fit and not morbidly obese, the chances that you're going to live a longer life are pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, there's numerous benefits, but that's a big one. It's a big one.
Were you eating a kale salad from McDonald's?
No, I make my wife Kim H makes me kale salad. So we've landed on this recipe. It's kale, Brussels sprouts, and spinach, and cabbage.
Ooh, sounds good though.
Yeah, and then you mix some stuff in there. I had some ranch dressing and then some green beans. Anyway, I needed some protein. I didn't have any protein because the chicken that we cook in advance sat around too long. It was kind of smelly. So I said, I need some chicken. So I ran by McDonald's and got a McChicken sandwich to go with my kale salad.
And I'm like, John H is at McDonald's. I'm looking at my phone going,
I know. I texted
no
you
way
said,
John H is at McDonald's. I'm like, what has happened?
And for the record,
yeah, you have the coffee. You have
McDonald's coffee is better than any other.
So the markets, crap the bed.
Yes, they did.
And inflation is one of those reasons. I mean, there's a lot going on globally.
Right.
The markets on Friday were way off.
Yes.
The markets when they started yesterday was a tremendous drop, and then a wild comeback.
Right.
Kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ouch! Too soon.
Chris says, hey, my brother that lives in Kansas City was at that game. I saw your brother along with 79,000 other fans.
That must have been nuts.
Including Bills Mafia. It was. But yeah, and I was talking to my husband. I'm like, oh my God, the markets today are as crazy as the Chiefs game was.
Right.
And did he fix it, Austin? Yeah, he did. Okay. But I think inflation is one of those reasons that, there's market instability.
Right.
And I know you wanted to speak to, about the market and what is it? The Dogecoin?
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin, yeah.
Cryptocurrency. For any of your listeners that dabble in cryptocurrency, I mean, that is the most volatile asset you can invest in right
now.
Sure. But like anything else, like the larger markets, stock market, bond, all the markets, fear and greed. Fear and greed.
Fear and greed.
Fear and greed. Those are the two emotions that kind of control that. So this is not investment advice, but if you know anything about cryptocurrency, buy it now. Buy it now.
Buy it now. Okay.
Buy it now. It's on the dip. Buy the dip, baby.
Have you bought it?
Oh yeah. Actually, I have to go from here to the bank and put more cash in to cover my buy.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I got to use that fiat money.
If someone called you a stupid son of a bitch, would you be angry about that?
I wouldn't. I guess it would depend on the context.
Yeah.
But
because you asked a question.
I swear a lot. So when people go, you stupid son of a bitch.
Right.
Like that's how my brothers and I talk to each other.
Of course.
I learned my best swear words from my grandmother. So profanity was the norm around my place, but I could see where a lot of people would be offended.
Okay, I'm going to play you one video, and this is where we all need to be respectful. This is coming from our President Biden.
Mm-hmm.
We all, and here's what I hate. You can appreciate the former President Trump because, I mean, you didn't get two sides. President Trump was what he was. Mean tweets and all.
Yeah.
Did I prefer that he stopped the incessant tweeting? I wished he would have, but that's not him. At least you knew what he was getting.
He was authentic.
He was authentic.
And you got to have some level of appreciation for that.
Right, exactly. But President Biden says one thing and turns around and says quite another. Let's play we have to be respectful because if you're not, you'll get fired.
Let's see this.
Yes.
We have an obligation, but we also have a great privilege. Very few times does an individual get an opportunity to do something that can fundamentally, positively impact on other people's lives, not only here, but around the world. You're engaged in and you're working with the most decent government in the world. And we have to restore the soul of this country, and I'm counting on all of you to be part of that. But I'm not joking when I say this. If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot. On the spot.
On the spot?
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Okay.
Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity.
Okay. Really?
That's been missing in a big way the last 4 years.
He must have forgotten he said that, because
I think he's forgotten a lot of things. But go ahead.
So everyone should be treated with a decency and respect.
Dignity. And respect. Yes. Yep.
Let's play this video.
What do you think President Biden mentioned that? Do you think it places a political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
So let me just let you know what was going on here. So they're rushing everyone out, and Peter Doocy of Fox News, correspondent, asked the president if inflation is going to obviously not be in his favor politically.
Correct.
If inflation is going to do him in politically. That's basically what he asked President Biden. Let me just remind you that Jimmy Carter, if you remember the Jimmy Carter days,
I do.
And one of the many Jimmy Carter failures was the fact that he could not get the inflation and our economic recovery back to where it needed to be.
It hit 20%.
Insane.
The prime lending rate.
Right. And that's one of the reasons, not all of the reasons. It's not the reason, but it's one of the reasons that Reagan came in and was able to beat Jimmy Carter. Inflation was indeed a very big thing in that particular election. That's what Peter Doocy was asking about. And Biden apparently didn't like it and called him a stupid son of a bitch for asking the question that it's legit. It's a legit question.
And it was the only question you could ask because they were given a list of topics that he wasn't going to answer questions about. So I was just reading the article where he was on. Well, he's been making the rounds. Nothing's been better for Peter Doocy's career than being called a stupid son of a bitch by Biden. This guy is he's trending.
Yeah, of course he's trending.
What's his name? Waters World on Fox said, so have you fact checked that you are in fact a stupid son of a bitch? And he says, well, I guess I'm going to have to, I have not fact checked that, but I guess I'm just going to have to live with that label.
Yeah.
Right? In jest, but it's done a lot for his career. I think Biden is just, he's lost some velocity off his fastball. I don't think he's cognizant of where he is. I think they've been firing up with like, adrenaline, shots of adrenaline just to get him through these things because
I know
it's kind of sad to see it out there in one way, but scary and dangerous in another way because Russia's at the doorstep and Putin, he's a scumbag, but but
he's an in shape, dangerous scumbag, right?
He'll ride his horse with no shirt on right across that goddamn border.
He's completely of sound mind and body.
Yeah,
I don't mind watching Putin on the horse.
You're playing a different game when you're playing with the Russians.
But I think we can agree that I don't even know that Biden, of course, is not pulling the strings. Someone is running the government. As many as 8,500 troops have been U.S. troops have been put on heightened alert as a possible deployment to Eastern Europe as the Russian troops are going, our toes over the line, our toes over the line, our toes over the line. Now what are you going to do?
Right. Well, he even had that gaffe when he said, if there's a minor incursion,
we don't mind
assess.
That.
We'll assess.
Right.
And then all of the European Union and NATO goes, hey, hold on a second now.
Right, exactly.
And he's like, well, then he has to come back and Jen Psaki is, more damage control than anything else.
Without a doubt.
All these people at that level are sociopaths. They have no qualms about saying whatever they have to say in the moment. They don't care about the fallout or the repercussions because they're just going to say whatever they have to say the next time. And they'll just deny culpable deniability. They'll say, well, this is what he meant. This is what he said. It's just, it's the old wag the dog.
It is, right?
Yeah.
If you've never seen the movie.
Wag the dog.
Dustin Hoffman is in that.
Yeah. Yep. You create a war to create a diversion to keep the eyes off your political scandal, much like Don't Look Up. I don't know if you watched Don't Look Up on Netflix.
I started it.
Meryl Streep as the president. She's amazing.
I started it and then realized Ozark was back. And then I went, screw it. I'm back on Ozark.
That's what's been distracting me from Ozark. But then I watched the premiere, the first season, and I go, how have I not been watching this?
The other thing is, and I don't know if you had heard about this story. There's a 31-year-old guy at a Boston hospital, the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. He has been removed from the heart transplant list because he is refusing to get the COVID-19 vaccine because he doesn't know what the vaccine will do to his body because he is so ill to begin with. Right. And it's against his basic principles. So one, he doesn't know how his body's going to respond to the vaccine. And two, he is against, he wants freedom of choice to have the ability to say, no, I don't want the vaccination. So Brigham and Women's Hospital says he has been taken off the heart transplant list because of his vaccination status.
Which is so stupid.
There he is right there.
There he is. Doctors take an oath, right? The Hippocratic Oath to, amongst other things, not deny care for people who need care.
Right.
If the police haul in a dude who shot up his whole family, they take him down, they wing him, they take him in. they do surgery on that guy.
They can't say,
they tried to say
look what he did. I'm not
shot his kids.
Not doing it.
They go, no. We swore an oath. This guy, he hasn't taken a flu shot, is basically what it comes down to.
Exactly.
Day one in the Pfizer study, I walked in, and Ed, the head doctor, I only know him as Ed and Ann. I can't remember their last names, but they're the doctors running the study for Pfizer. He said, this is what the intended outcome is. This is the best we could hope for. There is no cure for a respiratory virus. So if you're here to try to find the cure, you're in the wrong place, right? It will lessen the duration and the severity of the symptoms is what the efficacy of this shot will do.
They're hoping.
And it does.
They don't know that.
Maybe
the cold is just a cold.
The trials have proven that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's what the flu shot does. Right. That's what the flu shot. That's why old people who have comorbidities and underlying conditions always get the flu shot. And the rest of us go, you know what? I'm just going to roll the dice.
Let me kind of rearrange this.
This is ridiculous.
So if the guy came in and he was maybe a biscuit shy of 300.
Right.
So he's obese.
Right.
Say his BMI is, I don't know, what's a bad BMI? 35?
Sure.
32? I don't know.
Anything over
What's your
30.
BMI?
Perfect.
What, 6, 5?
No, BMI is height and weight. So mine's like 20.
Oh, yours is 20. Oh, okay. What's the other one where your
body fat percentage?
Your body fat percentage.
Composition, yeah.
Okay. So, what if this guy comes in at 300 pounds and his BMI is 35?
Right.
Would the doctors at Brigham and Women's Hospital say,
no,
we're taking you off the transplant list until you can get to 200? Can they? Can you imagine
probably not. I don't know. If there's other qualifications, because if you want to get if you want to get bariatric surgery, you have to lose you have to demonstrate that you're going to lose X amount of weight, like a percentage of your body weight, before they'll approve you for it. So there's other procedures that there's other conditions put upon it. So
of course,
I don't know is the answer, but probably not.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, can you imagine the outcome? And really, that's what they're saying. If someone comes in, they're suffering from heart problems,
right,
and they're morbidly obese, and the definition of morbidly obese is probably about half of the population,
right?
And the doctors say, I'm not
60%.
You're too fat. You're out of shape. Why should we give you a heart? You can't do that.
Right.
Right. I mean, do you see the insanity?
Yeah.
The whole thing is insane.
It's politically charged.
Which
is why we all should become unaffiliated voters. You shouldn't empower either party in the political process.
Do you miss doing?
Because they need your vote. That's the only thing they need from you.
That's
is your vote. And if you put it up in the air, you can still vote for Republican or Democrat if that's what. If you're unaffiliated, it's uncertain. Right now, I ran for political office in Webster. You know that.
Several occasions. Yeah, several times
if you walk in as a candidate, as a Democrat, you're going to get 3,300 votes, because people can be relied upon. 3,300 of them, registered voters in the Democratic Party of Webster, will go in and pull the lever for you. The problem is, if you're a Democrat, about 5,500 Republicans will do the same. So you got to win over, and there's a large percentage of unaffiliated voters, but again, they're apathetic. They just don't want to participate. So you've got to motivate them. I mean, politics is marketing. It's branding.
It is.
It's everything that you have done in your radio career, and now real estate career, which is highly successful because you understand the principles. You've got to be top of mind. When someone walks in the voting booth, they got to be thinking of John.
Bad or good.
Or if they go to buy a house or list a house, they got to think of Kimberly Ray.
That's it.
So everything you do that kind of throws your message out there, whether it be this podcast or whatever other method that you use, and other methods, you got to do everything. You want to be everywhere.
Yeah, you got to be everywhere.
What these politicians do, and our media allows them to do it. They give them the platform, and now they're starting to brand themselves. There's no objective news anymore. Fox is not objective. CNN's not objective.
None of it.
None
NBC,
of it's objective.
MSNBC.
So, I'll talk to people and they go, I won't watch Fox. I go, well, I can't have an informed conversation with you because I'll watch Fox and CNN. I'll read any article that comes my way. And I purposely go on and create my own algorithm on social media so I will get served both articles from the left and the right because I want to see it. And then I'll form my own opinion.
Shocking.
I know, but we represent 10%, maybe 15% of the population. People don't want to think.
I know.
Because when you get into that debate, they go, I just don't want to think about it. But I mean, you look at all these school board things that are going on, and now all of a sudden people are showing up and find out they have no voice. The school board shuts them down
completely.
They call the police.
They call the police, and they're domestic terrorists,
and according to them as domestic terrorists.
The Attorney General of the United States of America.
Yep.
So they don't want you to have a say-so in the education that
we dodged a bullet when Merrick Garland did not get confirmed as a Supreme Court justice under Obama, because that guy is politicizing the Justice Department to go after enemies of the Democratic Party.
Exactly.
So,
of which apparently people who pay taxes to the school district and don't agree how the school district is running things,
right,
are now labeled as a domestic terrorist.
But
that's where we are.
Here's where I was going with this. Those people won't go to the voting booth.
They should.
That's the problem. We would, Shannon Joy, you're friends with Shannon, right?
I am friends with Shannon, yeah.
What she's doing, and at first I thought she was batshit crazy, to be honest with you.
She might be a little, but I love her nonetheless.
But she's authentic, right?
Yeah, she is.
She's starting to kind of gain traction in a meaningful way, where she has said, you need to go out and vote. And, at first I thought, here's a right winger, religious nut, Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
And she is.
Yeah. But, she's unaffiliated. She's as critical about conservatives and Republicans as she is. I mean, she's
Democrats.
Yeah.
She doesn't like Trump.
No, she doesn't. Well, she thinks Trump kind of betrayed her as a conservative. And a lot of conservatives feel the same way. But here's why third party doesn't work and unaffiliated is the way to go. Third parties just align themselves with the two major parties. If you're a conservative, you're de facto Republican. If you're a working families party, you're a de facto Democrat. They all align. I tried to run as a working families party candidate alone, no Democratic affiliation. And they told me, if you don't have the Democratic nomination, we won't endorse you, because we synergize so we can stay relevant, because you've got to get 10%.
Right.
Or you don't get to show up on the ballot. That just happened in New York. They just chopped a bunch of them off. I think the Independence Party was one of them that got chopped off. But, it's really important for people to educate themselves about what goes on in their politics locally. But they don't. They don't care. They bitch on social media, but they won't do anything when it comes to where the rubber meets the road.
John Dietz wants to know who you voted. Who'd you vote for president?
John Dietz. Hey, John, I don't know. Ashamed isn't the right word. I kind of regret that I wasted my vote. I wrote in Bernie Sanders both in 2016 and 2020. Because it does, well, here's the thing. If you live in New York, it doesn't matter. The Democrat's going to win.
The Democrat's going to win.
So it was a protest vote. But, if I had it to do over again, I probably would have voted for Trump both times.
Yeah.
If
I did vote for Trump both times.
If
I know
it mattered.
Shocking to John.
And I don't even like Trump. I mean, I can't stand Trump. I probably like him less than Shannon Joy likes him, because I think he has a mental illness, but I think he's just inherently a scumbag. You know? And but anyway, he did some good things.
He did some great things.
He put some policies in place that made this economy good.
Yeah, but
made the security of this country better.
I think other foreign powers were a little leery of him too, because they didn't exactly know what he was going to do.
Right.
Because he's unpredictable. And I think that's good.
The wild card is a good card to play. Sometimes.
They always thought Reagan was a cowboy. You just don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to walk up and give you a hug, or is he going to pull out his gun from his holster?
Right.
And shoot, you never knew what Reagan was really going to do.
Right.
Do you miss having your show? Because you've worn many hats.
Yeah.
You've owned gyms. Yep. You've worked in different, various areas of employment.
Yeah.
But you also had a show on the radio.
Show. Yeah.
On with one of the AM channels.
Yeah, I was originally I was at Entercom with Mike Danger.
And then
I went over to iHeart because Joy, we both know and love Joy, was my salesperson.
Right.
She was my second salesperson. My first one was Lucy Brewer. You remember
I do remember Lucy.
Lucy once threatened to stab me in the eye with scissors and then refused to be my radio rep after that. And Joy became my radio rep. Actually, she left the radio business.
I love Joy.
Yeah. So Joy.
Well, the radio sales, she's threatened to stab you.
Yeah,
I kind of get that because, again,
I challenge people's assumptions, and some people don't respond as congenially as others. But Joy became
I think I heard about that
person.
whole thing.
Yeah. She was cute. Joy's cute too. But anyway, Joy left Entercom and went to iHeart and took me with her. And Mike Johnson, the sales manager. Now, this might be urban legend. Joy told me this. She said she went in, she gave notice to Mike. In the sales world, you leave. You don't hang around for 2 weeks and steal all your customers.
Of course.
They go, hey, thanks for playing. There's the door. So she said she was leaving Mike's office, and he said, hey, do me a favor. Take John H. with you. So
she did.
I migrated over to
she
iHeart.
did, of course.
So I do miss it. I do miss it. I mean, you were on my show. You were on the cover of my magazine. I was
on the cover of your magazine.
Yep.
I was a cover girl.
You were hot right there on the.
I need to get that skinny again. Yeah. It's a battle with me all the time.
We did some fun things,
but
I missed it a little.
You said you were, and I want to get to this. We're about out of time.
Go ahead.
We're over time. But that's okay. It's great having you on the show.
Bonus
I love
John
having
H.
you.
time.
I love having you on the show. There is a house that is, and you said you might think about real estate. I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you should think about real estate, and I think you should think about joining the Revere real estate team here at 530 Titus Avenue.
I think if I'm going to do it, I got to do it with Revere.
You should. You take the test. You can take it through the GRAR, the Greater Rochester Association of Realtors. You can do it in a week. It costs about $140, $150.
Okay.
I took mine online, which I thought was, they say it's harder to do on your own and online than it is to do it in a classroom setting.
Well, there's a lot of distractions at your house.
Yes, there's so many distractions.
I got to go make a 16th cup of coffee.
But if you're good at testing and you're a smart guy, I think you should become a realtor, and you should team up with us here.
All right.
And then we could, a lot of people. We could help people buy and sell homes.
Now, I know a lot of people, but do they like me?
That doesn't matter. I mean, there's a lot of people. Okay, so I think if you're going to think about this in terms,
well, you and I are a lot alike in that regard. We're polarizing.
Polarizing was my word I was going to use.
Yeah.
You either really love us or you really hate us, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
because I love passion. Yeah, and you either love me or you don't. But Alex Trebek, I'll take celebrity houses for $7 million. Alex, Alex Trebek's house that he has owned since there it is right there since 1991. Is listed for $7 million. If you got a couple of quarters, you can buy it.
Right. Is that his wife he's pictured there with?
Yeah. And she's much, much younger.
I see.
He died. So basically they waited a year, and they always say, if someone in your life, that, your husband, your wife, your partner, spouse, whatever it is, boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
You've been together a long time. You own property together. You should really kind of take a year and kind of let the dust settle before you make any decisions on whether or not, because maybe you decide 8 months down the line, you originally thought I could never, ever live here without this person. And then maybe 10 months down the line, you think, I actually like it here. It's better for me to stay here than to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
And they always say, don't make snap decisions after something happens to someone in your life that you own property with.
Right.
But she decided after a year of waiting, she's putting the house up for sale, and it is a 5-bedroom, 11-bathroom house. And there it is right there. It is a tad dated.
A little bit.
But, you take $1 million extra and you update it.
I was going to say, if you got $7 million for a house, you just go in and gut it. You got the resources to do it the way you want, right?
I mean, it's in Studio City, California. It's beautiful. And it's an 1.5 acres, which I got to think is kind of a good deal in Studio City, California. The other thing, of course, is Naples, Florida. Tampa was designated the number one, place that everyone is moving to.
Right.
Naples, Florida, had the top ranked market for the quarter in the real estate industry. Everyone's moving to Naples.
Yeah.
Apparently.
My wife's cousin is, he owned a bunch of property here in the South Wedge. I don't know how many apartments, but he just bought a house on an island down there. I think he paid $1.5 million for it, and he just gutted it out. He's redoing it right down there, Tampa, St. Pete. Area.
Yeah, Tampa, St. Pete. Yeah, and I think Naples had the top ranked market for the quarter in real estate, followed by Northport, Florida. I'm not sure where that is. But the other markets, Cape Coral, Punta Gorda, I don't think there's an area in Florida that is not doing well in terms of real estate.
Well, you think of all the states that people are just fleeing, like New York State,
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, California.
Yep, they're all moving to Texas and Florida.
Right.
Some people in the Carolinas. I was talking to a buddy in the Carolinas. He said, if you don't like driving a lot, don't move to the Carolinas because you got to drive for everything. And he's, taxiing his kids around, and it's like miles and miles from the school and from the activities.
Really?
Yeah, he said you always have to drive a lot in the Carolinas. Florida, everything's right there next to you.
Is that right? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, eventually we're moving to South Carolina, but I don't know. But you know what? It's been great having you in.
It's been fun.
So what are you doing now? What do you do after you would leave here?
I am going to go and do some vending, healthy vending.
Healthy vending.
Yep,
So you do it for 5 schools in the district.
I think we have 10.
10.
That's my wife's business, but I get to do the grunt work, which I love because I'm just
Kim's a smart woman.
She is. She puts me to work and keeps me busy and keeps me out of trouble.
I hope you come back and do Kimberly's Revolution with me again.
I would love to.
I love that.
I would love to.
Austin, don't you think you did a great job? Did a good job.
Excellent job.
Someone thinks we would be a great real estate team on the comments here.
That is what I'm talking about. I mean, honestly, you will pass the test.
Selling Sunset?
It just makes me sad that I'm not selling that kind of, for that amount of money. But I have watched it a time or two, bits and pieces.
These bitches cannot be hotter or cattier. They are just at each other's throats for everything. Gossip.
I am the nicest.
Me and you, well, I mean, we're almost as hot as those girls.
Almost.
But we definitely could raise the stakes on our cattiness.
Yeah, we could. The hardest thing for me in real estate is just not being the Kimberly on the radio.
Right.
Like I have a hard time dialing back some of my comments when people do really stupid things. Like buy a car 2 weeks before closing. I thought I was going to have a freaking heart attack. It was everything I could do.
Yep.
To not look at these people, and I love them and they know who they are. And when the mortgage person called me and said, your clients just bought a new car, right? And I'm like, what?
Listen, my son he's been buying some real estate and I help him. So I'm involved, but silently. But anyway, his realtor said he had a house, sold the house, showed up for closing, couldn't get the house. They had bought a whole house full of new furniture on credit. They had all this furniture and now no house to put it in because they effed up their debt to income ratio and boom, they couldn't close.
Couldn't close.
So yeah, I've heard these stories. People make bad decisions. Don't be stupid, right?
Don't be stupid. And it was everything I could do to not go all Joe Biden on them at the time. You stupid son of a bitch. And I was like, but now, if I were on the radio and someone called and said, "Oh my God, my real estate agent says I can't close because I just bought a car 2 weeks before the closing of my house," I would have said, "What are you, freaking stupid?"
Right.
Now, as a real estate agent,
I
have to be nice,
maintain some level
and I have
of
to
decorum.
say, "We'll fix this. Hold on, we'll get it under control. Don't worry, we'll get it under." And luckily, the transaction went through. But it was everything we could do to pull it together.
Doesn't Chad have some like shady hard money guy he can go to and say, "Hey, listen, we
don't have a shady hard money.
We got to fix this, and can you come in?
No.
We'll get it right here in a month or two." No,
I don't know. I don't think we.
I don't know if we could be partners.
No, we can't.
I like shady hard money guys.
I think it's a great idea, though. I think this is your next big gig. I think John H. Real estate, professional for Revere Realty. I think it is. That's where you are. Me and you, we team up. We do things.
I'm going to go online when I get home. Look up real estate licenses.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
I will send you the link. I think they're having one. I think they're having a week course coming up in maybe late February, March. I'll have to look that up. But I love it. So that's the hardest thing is to, and you're good at it because you've owned businesses and you've trained people.
Right.
Well,
I started in the fitness business selling gym memberships for the Rochester Athletic Club. So you got to get people to say yes to gym memberships. I think it's as hard as getting them to say yes to buying a house or listing a house. But you only make a $40 commission when you get them to say yes to that.
Right.
I want some big commissions.
You want
Kimberly.
some big commissions. Yeah. I mean, I think this is perfect for you though. This is your next opportunity. I think.
Is that why you brought me here?
Yes.
This whole hour was just a ruse to
yes.
get me to join the real
estate.
Of course
it is. Of course it is. And I think
I'm
you'd
smitten.
be a good podcaster too. I think you should do, you did your own show for years. But anyway, we appreciate you coming in. Tomorrow is going to be, Randy Semino, right? Gates to Recovery.
Yeah.
There was a little situation that happened last week where the county decided to move 60 or 70 homeless addicts into hotels in Gates without alerting the Gates.
That
police.
also might be like Governor Hochul's mask mandate illegal, right? I mean, isn't there like some duty to
your
report?
little thing. It's your thing.
Isn't there some duty to report?
I think there was a duty from the county to let the Gates police know that. And then, of course, what's the worst that could happen? Well,
they start robbing all the houses around.
Someone ODs in one of those hotel rooms, and that's exactly what happened. Randy Semino, who is a recovering addict and recovering, can you say recovering felon? I mean, he's probably been in jail more times than you and I are age-wise put together.
There is a term for that. Yeah. Recovering felons.
Yeah, recovering felon,
once
recovering
you get a felony, you're screwed in many, many, many ways.
Right.
I mean, I'll have to come back and talk about my Walmart experience.
Yes, please. Well, I mean, Randy just got clean several years ago, and he's been sober, but you're always an addict, so he's a recovering addict.
Yes.
And really, the media, and I know at least two media outlets here in town that didn't even cover this story.
No, the overdose, I guess, pandemic in and of itself has gone away.
Just went away.
It's gone away.
But they moved all these at the taxpayer dime. Right? You're already paying out of your pocket for these kind of services for these homeless and homeless addicts, right? Not all homeless are addicts, but
right. It's a path to homelessness.
So they use county dollars to house these people in hotels in Gates, didn't bother to tell Gates police. And then, of course, one of them is in a nice, cozy, warm hotel room and decides to get high and dies.
Jesus.
And so Randy Semino was a little angry about this, especially since the county started denying it.
Right.
So we're going to talk to Randy Semino. He's going to be in tomorrow on Kimberly's Revolution. We have a lot to talk about crime-wise because
we didn't even get to some of the
we didn't even get to some of the crime things.
Yeah.
But you have three girls, stabbing a woman in Greece.
I know, that's
three
crazy.
City girls stabbing a woman in Greece and carjacking her. She's 62. The teenagers were 13, 14, and 15. It's just ridiculous where we are crime-wise in this city.
The guy who was attacked with a hockey stick in the Civic Center garage.
Right.
Have we heard? I mean, Bellows got 24/7 security down there now. What are they doing out in Greece? Are they 24/7 out there?
I don't know, but that guy he's 22 years old, and in the last year has been arrested 30 times.
Oh yeah.
30 times in the last year.
Yeah.
With that hockey stick situation in the city garage.
Well, I'm 54. And I invite a 22-year-old to come after me with a hockey stick.
I'd like to see that.
Bring it.
I'd pay money.
Well, I'll tell you, there were some women at the gym about my age, and I go, I think you got to assess your readiness or fitness in life when someone can attack you with a hockey stick. I said, because I already got my moves planned out. I said, yeah, I'm not... One, never run away. Run toward. Because
right.
I mean, you can't jab, you can't swing fast enough for me to punch you right on the chin and knock you unconscious.
I'd love to see that. That could be like a pay-per-view.
But
in the Civic
these
Center
women
garage.
said the same thing. They were like, yeah, we kind of thought, you get your ass kicked by a 22-year-old. I don't care if you're 60. Women think less of you. You better be ready in life.
Better be ready.
Just to keep your reputation up with the ladies.
That's true.
Is my point.
Yeah. That's true. And the other thing is, the 62-year-old woman. Now, I'm not 62. I'm 56.
Right.
But I think if a 13 and a 14-year-old came after me, I'd like to think that I'd be able to defend myself against a 13 and a 14-year-old. I had a 13-year-old once.
Right.
And I had a 14-year-old. Could I take her down now?
Right.
No, she's 23 and she's a cop. And believe me, that kid doesn't move. She is solid as a rock. But a 13 and 14-year-old, I'd like to think. But some 62-year-olds, are not in the best shape. So I don't want to pass judgment on this woman, but
you're right. They obviously picked out their victim.
They stalked her.
They stalked her. Her vulnerability.
They followed her out of the
availability.
Store. Of course.
They had that planned long in advance.
Without a doubt.
Perpetrating that deed.
Without a doubt.
So you always got to have your head on a swivel. You got to be ready to go at a moment's notice. I mean, there's no better reason in this time, this day and age, to be fit, to be ready, and you just be harder to kill.
Right. Be harder to kill.
Be harder to kill.
That should be your new motto for your.
That's what I tell people at the gym all the time. I go, hey, I'm trying to make you guys harder to kill. Harder to kill.
I love you. That's why I love you. John H., thank you for coming on Kimberly's Revolution. We appreciate you. Austin, great job today.
Thanks, Austin.
Here's Austin showing up for the show today. And is feeling good. We also want to thank Fitz at Rockbox Productions. Fitz at Rockbox Productions makes this whole thing happen. Yeah, he showed us how to put everything together. So we are always, if you want to put together a podcast, or if you're thinking about it with friends, Fitz Rockbox Productions, that's ROCVOX Productions. You can find him on the Googles.
Yeah,
I think
on the interwebs.
On the interwebs, exactly.
He made me look like I have a tan today.
I know. We want to thank, of course, all of our sponsors: Taylor's Heating and Plumbing, of course, Precision Lawn and Garden in Webster, and the Sealing Company, of course, and who was it, Brian at Express Sealers. So we appreciate them. We'll be back tomorrow, 4:00. Don't miss it. You can always check us out on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It's free to subscribe. Give us a like, and you're going to come back, right?
Yeah.
We're going to
give you a love. Like isn't
give me
strong enough.
A love.
You got to love Kimberly.
That's right. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 hours.